Hello and welcome to The Thriller Zone. I'm your host, David Temple. Hard to believe, 1 year ago this week, I launched this podcast. And it was with May Cobb, and I was sitting in Lake Tahoe, daydreaming of making this show something that I could really be proud of and that would help other writers succeed. And here we are a year later, and today's show is a culmination of so many exciting moments. There's only a handful of authors with me today, many of whom that I invited could not make it, but here's just a smattering of some of the fantastic talent on the show. Really excited about today's show, and I'm even more excited about what I'm calling 2.0 is going to be like. We're going to expand it a little bit, more thrillers, wider variety. You're still going to have the front row seat to the best thriller writers in the world, books, movies, and TV. But we're going to expand into noir thrillers, political thrillers, psychological thrillers, romance thrillers, sci-fi thrillers. If it thrills, it's here, because this is for thriller seekers everywhere. That's kind of what I started with. We're also going to bring in experts in the field of writing, publishing, editors, a lot of the external and periphery elements that we as writers really want to learn about and know about. So I'm very excited about that. On today's show, also a special bonus. My wife, Tammy, is co-hosting with me. Without any further ado, join me, won't you, for 1 hour of great fun, walking down memory lane as we celebrate a 1 year anniversary of The Thriller Zone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, good. You're my first victim to see if this is working.
Tammy, it's a pleasure to see you. It's been a while.
It's really nice to see you. I mean, this was part of the whole reason I was excited was I feel like I haven't seen you in years, and here we go.
We actually haven't. Not since you left New York.
Isn't that crazy?
She looks good.
Yeah, we'll just tell everyone I'm not 5'2". I'm on injured reserve. I took a header yesterday running, and my knee looks like I have a watermelon on it, and I've got road rash. So
Congratulations.
thank you. It's like a badge of honor, right?
Oh, look who it is.
Hey, Chris.
Well, say hi, buddy.
Hey, bud.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
I'm Chris Hauty. What's your name?
Oh,
Hey, Chris, I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm
Nice to meet you.
You know, our hosts are...
Don't pay attention to David. So
Yeah, and I love it when
he's only been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah, I know, supposedly.
Oh, Meg Gardiner.
Hi,
Hello.
Meg.
Hi, how are you guys?
Nice to see you.
You too.
Nothing will go wrong.
No. Hey,
Yeah.
Peter Farris.
What's up, David?
See, this is why I have my wife with me, because she's way smarter than I am.
Not true.
Actually, that is true. I can attest to that.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
But
got
I
a
love you,
regular
David.
Hollywood Squares
Don't
thing
ever
going
change.
on.
I know. This is great.
So for me, Peter is Paul Lynn, and that's what I want to be. So that's not fair.
We're doing a little Zoom tutorial, if you guys haven't noticed. Just a little extra bonus round for all of you today.
At the blast.
Okay, I'm going to go in a quick circle while we're waiting for our last person to join us. Sean O'Rourke is up in the top left corner. Sean and I go way, way, way back. Chris Hauty is in the other corner. Oh, here he is. Okay. Chris, we'll see Meg Gardiner. Everyone knows Meg Gardiner.
Hi, Meg.
Hello.
Next row, we got Peter Farris, Mark Westmoreland, Joe Goldberg. Oh, part of the Andrews Wilson team. Followed by the final part of the Andrews Wilson team and Joey Hartstone.
David,
Right.
you want me to fire up a turkey call?
Oh, you just keep that turkey call on the ready.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining me for this anniversary special. I wanted to say out of the gate, for the record, there's very little rhyme or reason as to who is here and who isn't, because
Obviously.
yeah.
Were you
Many-
pointing at Brian? It looked like you were pointing at Brian. Which I get.
Many people were invited, many people could not make it. So what's everyone drinking? Let's start there. We'll start ladies first. Sean picks
Super
it.
exciting. I have a Topo Chico because it's 4,000 degrees in Austin and I needed something cold and bubbly.
Nice. Oh, by the way, the reason Tammy is lower, she took a fall yesterday during a run and did a pretty decent job of banging the shit out of her knee.
Oh, no,
Oh, I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
That you shouldn't be running. I think.
Right. I know. Someone said, well, that's exactly why I don't run. Why would I do that? But it is a badge of honor. Sean and I have gone down. We're kind of workout buddies in a way. So it's a badge of honor, I guess. But I'm not 5'2". I'm actually 5'7". Just got an ice pack on my knee.
The better news is that when she called David actually showed up.
By the way, Sean and I go way back to our QVC days, back when I had a short stint as a QVC host on a ancillary QVC channel. He wrote a lot of the material that I said, and so while he's not a thriller writer, he's a thrilling hell of a guy.
Oh, thanks.
All right, who else is? Let me see. We got red wine, I think, with Jeffrey, right?
Yeah. Whatever my wife was pouring, I think it's a Duckhorn Merlot.
Let's see. Bourbon with Mark Westmoreland. I've got to imagine. Mm-hmm.
Woodford on the Rocks.
Bubbly with Sean.
Bubbly, there we go.
Two Brothers vodka soda.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Big
Howdy.
glass of vodka. I'm going to hit it. You're going to pick me up off the floor.
Yeah, by the end. Crystal will be scraping them off the floor. David, I'm drinking something tax-free and off the books right here.
Oh.
Mason jar. It is mason jar. This is grog.
That ain't apple cider. I don't think.
It's apple pie though. Close. You can see apples floating around in it. So it's singing. Let me put it that way. It's singing.
Well, hey, Joey, how about you? What do you got?
I'm with Chris. It's tequila, but
Blanco.
Hey, this is such a fun time. The fact that we're here now is awesome, and the people who showed up are some of my favorites.
At least now.
Yeah.
Time fillers.
We love your show. We're happy to support you. So we're glad to be here.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I do want to give everyone a chance to kind of pimp what they're either working on now.
Go get it.
Yeah. Just as a backup, and you know, you could certainly do show and tell. I've got, I think I have the books, that were on the show, and I have a couple that are in process. I think that's probably where, Meg, I got to tell you something, man. I cannot wait to dive into this. Yeah, go ahead and
Thank
show
you.
me.
That's what I just ran out to get. I remember to show my drink, but I forgot to bring the book that I've written.
That's going to be tough to top that one. I don't know. I think that should have been the closer, but go ahead, Meg.
Meg, let's talk about
Heat 2.
Yeah, let's talk. This has got to be one of the most exciting things that I've seen come down the pike, and I'm just going to let you run with it.
Oh, thank you. I have co-authored Heat 2 with Michael Mann, who, as I hope everybody knows, wrote and directed the film Heat, starring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, Val Kilmer. And he has since before then, always wanted to expand the world of the stories of the characters in that classic crime drama. And I was asked about possibly collaborating with him. And I thought, well, this is going to be a huge project, taking on something so big. And then I thought about it and said, you know what I've always really wanted to do? Always, and I've never done it, is write a heist novel. I thought, when am I ever going to get an opportunity like this again to write a heist novel about the characters from my favorite heist movie with the man who wrote and directed my favorite heist movie with these iconic characters in this like epic saga. So we have written not a sequel, not a prequel, but both.
Wow.
The story starts the day after the film ends with the last survivor of Niels Macaulay's crew, Chris Hurlis, wounded, holed up in Koreatown, half delirious, desperate to escape LA. Vincent Hanna, who was Al Pacino's cop, desperate to capture or kill him before he can ghost out of the city. And then it goes to the before and after of the film. It goes back 7 years to Chicago, where Neil's crew is living the life and taking scores all across the country. Hannah's in the Chicago Police Department. It jumps forward to heists on the US-Mexican border. It goes forward in time after the story of Heat to South America, where Chris gets involved with a crime syndicate, and then to LA in the year 2000, Southeast Asia. It's a big canvas with some big characters, and I feel incredibly privileged, thrilled, honored that I've been able to, I was entrusted with helping bring more stories of these characters to life. It's been a ride, I will tell you. It has been a ride. So I can't wait for everybody to read it. It's out August 9th.
Man, that is so cool. And Meg, real quick, we were talking on social media, and you set us up to go watch a particular show. We got on it right away. What was that?
It was on HBO Max, Meg. It was like the 30-minute documentary interview or piece about his particular section of the movie, why it was his favorite, and he broke all of the elements of that particular scene down. Right. And I think he had the cinematographer with him and then an editor with him. Is that?
Yes, the series is one perfect shot, which is hosted by Ava DuVernay, the director. And she interviewed, I think, 6 different directors about picking one perfect shot from one of their films. Michael Mann, Aaron Sorkin's another one of the directors. Yeah. But he picked, out of all his works, he picked a moment in the bank robbery showdown from Heat, and then talked about it for half an hour, basically about what was going on, how he came to that point in his career, what was happening in the film. And I would recommend the series if you're interested in film at all. Just it's fun, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
I know I'm just an interloper here. I'm not the actual host or a writer. However, one of the things that I wanted to know is he mentioned that he doesn't have a democracy on his set. He's what he says goes. How was writing with him? Was it really collaborative, or what was that process?
It was incredibly collaborative, but I think when your title on a film is director, that tells you exactly what's going on. But
rhymes with dictator.
Kind of, but we were enmeshed in collaborating on this. I mean, he had of course had the idea for the story for a long time. So I came to it wanting to honor his deep love, understanding, development of the characters and their lives and the stories and where he wanted to take it. But after that, it was literally hashing out every word pretty much in the book from start to finish. It was an incredible. It was challenging because he's extraordinarily accomplished and works hard and gets a lot done and thinks about drama on an elevated level. So it was something that I had to bring my A game every single moment, but it was terrific. Yeah.
And Meg, I don't want to blow smoke up your skirt, but you kind of live an A game, so I don't think that was very much of a stretch.
Well, that's kind of you to say. You haven't seen the gym shorts I'm wearing. I managed to get myself looking like an adult from shoulders up. So.
But we're so excited for Heat 2. I mean, this is, I can't imagine being in your shoes right now. It would be a dream come true for most all of us, I think. So we, to say, could this be game changing for you? I don't know. Your life has changed pretty well on its own. So we shall see, right?
Indeed.
I would love to jump to one of my new finds this year for a quick little, and we're going to bounce back and forth, but and speaking of movie and television, this gentleman here at the bottom of my screen, I don't know where he places with you, but Joey Hartstone, this book, The Local, is just a riveting legal thriller. And Joey, I would love for you to just jump on and tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, it came out about 2 weeks ago. It's about a small town in East Texas where there's more patent lawsuits than anywhere else in the country. And so there's sort of this cottage industry of local attorneys there who join big city, out of state corporate teams, and they serve as kind of the local voice to try to persuade the juries there. And so that's the main character. And then one of his corporate clients gets accused of murder. And so he has to take on his first criminal case and represent him.
You know, and I think I said on the show, and sometimes I am one to hyperbolize things, but I really try not to ever do that. But this was, I said, you're giving John Grisham a run for his money, because I just think it was so tight and so on the money. Tammy was reading over my shoulder on occasions, and she said, this is going to be one that I'm going to have to pick up. So we're just so proud of you and happy for you, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I've gotten some really good feedback. I've done a couple movies that have not gotten such kind responses. So being out on my own, it was nice to hear good words.
I mean, has anyone else heard of Your Honor on HBO? That was one of our favorite shows that we watched and paid close attention to with Bryan Cranston. You were a writer on that show, right, Joey?
Yeah. What? Hey, sorry. I don't know what's going on.
I just paid you the best compliment and you missed it.
We can hear you perfectly. Where did you go? You still with us?
Oh, bummer.
Oh,
Boy, you
like internet
compliment some people, huh?
All right, well,
he's a Hollywood guy. You can only say bad things to him. Otherwise, he doesn't know how to handle it.
while we're waiting for him to come back, Andrews Wilson, two guys who have become really good friends of mine, and my book of choice on this one. There are so many. I mean, I've got a lot of your guys' books in there, but I pulled Dark Intercept because it was one of my favorites. So either one of you jump in and tell us a little bit about that. And then again, any other project you'd like to talk about.
Well, I mean, I'll let Brian jump in because he writes all the books. I just put my name on them.
I know it's hard to come up with all the words. I mean, other than the title. No, thanks. We love that book. It's a new series that we kicked off with Tyndale House. We publish with multiple publishers, so we're with Blackstone. I think Meg, you're at Blackstone too. They're a great house. That particular book, though, Dark Intercept, was with Tyndale, and we're really excited about. It's a new series, and we have a big cast of characters, all the way from 12-year-old girl who's kidnapped to senior folks in a super secret task force that gets their intelligence collection not just from traditional means, but some interesting atypical means. I'll let Jeff maybe chime in about how that works.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to do this, as we talked about before, Dave, because we are known for kind of straight up covert ops thrillers, military thrillers, SEAL team stuff, that kind of thing. And so this was a little bit different for us to be able to put a more speculative element, some supernatural elements that have a faith basis to them. So, having intelligence gathering done by a group of teenagers in a sort of Stranger Things sort of way was definitely different for us, but very, very fun. So everybody on here is an accomplished writer. So, when you have that rare opportunity to step out of sort of your brand, it's so fun, right? It's so exciting, like working with Man, right? That's just such a cool thing. So being able to do something a little different was super exciting, and that's something we got to do in this series. The second book is actually already out. The third book comes out in October in that series, and they've extended us 3 more books in that series. And then Sons of Valor is still cooking. Second book just came out. We're just finished up the third one for next year, and our Tier 1 fans can stop emailing us. Tier 1 is not dead. Book 7 comes out in February. I literally submitted my pass after I come behind Brian so that he does the hard work, but I did my pass on DE and submitted it just today. So Dempsey comes out next February. So we've got a lot going on, staying busy. The
Man.
golf clap. I love the date.
Well, you guys are prolific. I mean, it is crazy how many. And I've just rebuilt some of the cabinets just to be able to handle all the books.
Yeah, they need bracing. We're going to try to fill up the entire thing if we can by the next year. So.
Well, what I like to brag about with Brian and I is that if you put the two of us together, we're almost one good writer. So that's something to be proud of.
Okay, Brian. So I have wanted to jump in on your podcasts with David. I think you guys have talked a couple times because you put a post on Twitter about your love of Kringles.
Yes.
So we're bonded. Do you say Kringle or Kringla?
Kringle.
Kringle. And then what's your favorite Kringle?
Well, my favorite is the raspberry, of course. I mean, I've tried practically every other flavor, and raspberry, every time I think I'm going to supplant raspberry, I always find myself going back to the raspberry.
Raspberry.
Yeah. But every year we order at least one new flavor. And I think O&H Bakery is never going to, they know that that's the secret to getting people to come back. So every year they have something new.
And your bakery is located where?
I order them from Racine, Wisconsin. So,
Yes.
Right there with you. Yep. This is a fun thrill for me because I get to hear everything about you guys. I've read some of your books. I'm a big Meg fan. And so to be here and finally have an opportunity where I can ask questions that I wanted to ask is really fun. So thank you for indulging me on the Kringle question.
Sure.
I was really hoping May Cobb was going to show up because she was guest number 1 of the show. And Joe, were you number 2? Or if you weren't 2, you were right around there.
Yeah, somewhere in those low digit numbers because you were looking for real people to talk to, and I was next one. Yeah,
Couple of things about Joe. Spy Devils, great book. Number 2, I see you're not drinking Diet Coke. He was doing way too much Diet Coke. I see you've lost some weight. You look fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. I gave up on your advice. I finally gave up Diet Coke after 30 years of compulsive consumption, and had a few with the grandkids, but since you fall, and then pretty much many. Then I decided to lose some weight.
Well, you look fantastic. And the last time we talked, your living room had just caught fire not long before, right?
I burnt the house down, and then I had a flood. So I kind of mashed them all up together within the past 5 years. Yeah. I burned it down about 5 years ago exactly, rebuilt it, and then came back from my family thing and found water in our basement about 6 months ago, or about the time of our talk.
Look at Meg. She just went through this, didn't you? Like a year ago?
Yeah. Our house.
Is this a thriller author thing?
Watch out, guys, because our car caught fire in the garage last summer, and I'm still in the rental house while the rebuild is finishing up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's 2 insurance policies though, car and house. The way to go.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of insurance, I want to say hi to my good friend Sean O'Rourke, who's been with us for many, many years, and his wife works in the field of
insurance. He actually owns the brokerage firm I consult for.
Sean is one of those guys that we would sit around. We worked in Westchester where QVC was back in the day, and then I moved out to LA. He came out. We'd sit around and jot down thriller stories, movies, book ideas. And matter of fact, Sean, do you remember one afternoon we're sitting out there, maybe Ventura Boulevard? I had this idea. I jotted it down called Rewind, and ended up turning it into a short film. I mean,
I still have the DVD bedroom there.
DVD.
Makes sense.
All I need is a DVD player, and I can watch it.
Chris, we're coming to you, but I do want to get Peter Farris. I want you to work on I want you to prime your duck call, but turkey call. While we're doing that, we're going to say hi to Mark Westmoreland, who wrote this tiny novella, A Violent Gospel, which will bitch slap you in the face. It was one of the quickest, fastest, funnest reads I had this past year, and I'm glad he could get on the show today. Hey, Mark.
It's a pleasure. Happy to be here. A Violent Gospel is like my love letter to Dukes of Hazzard. It's about 2 brothers who steal money from a Pentecostal church, and things go wrong from there.
the thing that's currently coming out is called A Morning Song. It's my love letter to Walking Tall. It's the sequel to A Violent Gospel. It's set 2 years after the events of that book, and a white supremacist gang called the Ghostface Devils are moving into Tugelo County, and the Dooley brothers have to basically run them off.
So between Walking Tall and
The Dukes.
Yeah, Dukes. I love it. Now, Peter Farris, when I ran across Peter, I think we opened the show, I think in our green room, we opened the show with a turkey call because, and I was so god dang excited because rarely do you get to meet somebody who just plays in the sandbox and doesn't go, well, I've never done this on camera or whatever, but I'm gonna, while he's preparing for that, this book right here is the devil himself probably ended up being, for whatever reason, and I've loved every one of these books, for a guy to break out of nowhere with this, it's one of those books that has stayed in the back of my mind for whatever reason for weeks on end, and every once in a while I'll kind of hear that main character say something, and I think the reason that is one of the first times I had debuted this little feature on the show called If This Scene Could Talk. So I basically took a scene.
Thanks, man. As I've said it frequently, that book took me 10 years to publish. My first novel came out in 2012, a heist novel about the Aryan Brotherhood. And the devil himself took off in France, but I couldn't get arrested in the United States. So yeah, all in, took me nearly 10 years for that book to get in print in English. And yeah, it's a relief finally, and I'm glad it's out there, and I'm glad folks are responding and enjoying it. I've found an audience and readership in France, and still pretty much obscure and irrelevant in the United States. But thank you, David, for having such an awesome platform for writers across the spectrum, from the famous to the totally obscure. Hey, Mark. Where we can get out there and connect with readers and talk about our work, and it's very egalitarian, and I think that's what's so awesome about what you guys are doing here. So, but yeah, David, I'll tell you, Mark knows this. Just got short form deal memo. The book is being set up for film. Laurent Bouzereau is attached to direct, based on my screenplay. So we'll be going to signature this week, it looks like, and big first step in getting the feature made. They've been at it for about 18 months. So.
Nice.
We'll see. Yeah, it'll probably all fall apart tomorrow, knowing show business. But
Wow!
Congratulations.
A little bit of good news after waiting 10 years and wondering if I'd ever publish in the United States again. So
very cool. Congrats.
Yeah. Can I give Peter a compliment for having the best shirt?
Well, I didn't dress up. I literally was helping my wife make dinner and walking a baby chihuahua, and then scrambled down here with moonshine so I could get on time. So this is not the plan.
Well, I'm going to open the show with that line that he just dropped on us. I mean, that's the beginning of a book right there. All right, come on, give me a little punctuation mark with a turkey call.
I brought my favorite box call. So here's a little cluck, and then here's a yelp for you. You ready? So that's what a hen makes in the woods during breeding season. You'll hear them yelp like that. And the gobblers go crazy looking for a girlfriend and come to that sound. The trick is to sound like a hen and make them think you're that girlfriend, and then they get into range, and well, yeah, you know what happens next.
I'm pretty sure I heard that in West Hollywood.
Probably.
Hey, listen, we've got wild turkeys in Austin. I heard it outside our window late one night, and I was afraid to open the blind, see two tiny little beady eyes staring in. So
yeah, they're great.
I don't know what's going to happen here. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be great if I called in birds into your yard. Like that'd be a feather in my cap for the rest of my writing career. So,
and here you go. We've been talking about this book for how long? Storm Rising, Chris Hauty. This I thought
feels like forever.
There's Joey. No, it doesn't.
I thought, okay, we're gonna let Joey back in. Welcome back, Joey. I thought Deep State was a page turner. Then
Savage Road.
Thank you, Savage Road. But this one, golly day, we talked about this when we were up at Thriller Fest just a few weeks ago, and the success that it's had. And just tell the folks who have not had a chance to pick it up yet what it's all about, Chris.
It's all about, I write speculative political fiction. So I take things that are happening in our world and twist them and manipulate them and kind of blow them a little bit out of proportion. And then before I finish the book, news events overtake it and make it a lot less speculative than what I began with. I mean, the Texas GOP just put into their platform aspects of my book. So not so speculative after all. But anyway, Haley Chill is my franchise character, and she's a very resourceful, relentless fighter for the sanctity of the Constitution. And the threats that she encounters are usually domestic based. They're more of a, how we can do harm to ourselves and our own institutions. And so in this case, in Storm Rising, she's down in largely in West Texas, and she goes down there in pursuit of a much more personal mystery about the death of her father and some very mysterious circumstances surrounding his death. That is the surprise ending of Savage Road, the book 2 in the series, and so in the course of pursuing that mystery and the truth, she uncovers a much bigger conspiracy that, happily she resolves. The Union remains preserved at the end of the book, and but she's suffered quite a few emotional body blows in the course of that journey, and so at the end of the book, she's really been pretty wiped out. What I'm currently working on now is I've turned in is book 4, and that sort of picks up where Storm Rising left off. And but anyway, she gets right back on track, and the 4th book is set in Hawaii of all places, and is a real thriller. So I've been I've turned that book in, that manuscript is in, and expecting the editorial letter from the world's best editor, Emily Bessler, any day now, and pushing around ideas for book 5 while I'm waiting for that letter.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the golf clap.
Yeah. Joey, welcome back. And what were we talking?
I was mid-compliment.
It bothered me so much I just signed off.
Right, you were very uncomfortable with positive feedback. Joey, we need to work on that. No, I was just saying, if anyone had enjoyed the series Your Honor with Bryan Cranston and Hope Davis and a whole slew of other people that we've seen in phenomenal productions, you were one of the writers on that show. And that was one of our favorite series that we watched all last year. So
cool.
I'm really excited to meet you.
Thanks. I'm working on the 2nd season right now. Actually, what happened was 2 executive producers called right as you were saying that, literally, and somehow it messed up all of my technology. So they have like special powers when they realize I'm not working. But yeah, we're doing the 2nd season, and it should come out at the end of the year.
Cool.
I can't wait.
It's
a great series.
One of our favorite shows ever. I don't know, man. And Bryan Cranston, forget about it. All right, folks, we're going to take one quick short break. And when we come back, we're going to find out each one of these guys and gals, their favorite moment in the first year of the Thriller Zone. Stay with us.
Hey David, Wanda Morris here. I just wanted to reach out and wish you happy anniversary. This is such a wonderful milestone. And I also want to thank you for being so incredibly generous to new writers like me. I wish you nothing but success and happiness in the future. I can't wait to talk to you again. All my love, all my best. Mwah!
Hi David, this is Ben Sobiak from Writer's Black Coffee. Just wanted to wish you a very big congratulations on 1 year of the Thriller Zone podcast. That's an amazing achievement. As a writer and a reader, I look forward to each episode because you put a ton of time and a ton of care into each episode. It really makes the Thriller Zone something special.
David Temple, congratulations on wrapping up the first season. You brought on a pretty impressive list of scribes and guests this last year, so I bet you will top yourself on year 2.
Happy anniversary for the Thriller Zone podcast. If you haven't had a chance yet, take a listen.
Happy 1 year anniversary to David Temple and the Thriller Zone.
Hey David, happy 1 year birthday for the Thriller Zone, my favorite thriller podcast. You have just had a who's who of people on your show. I can't wait to see what you have in store for year 2.
Hey David, congrats on the Thriller Zone to be such a great hit. Dude, that's awesome.
What's up, David? It's Scott Blackburn, just sending you a congratulations on 1 year of hosting the Thriller Zone. Cheers.
1 year on Thriller Zone. Congratulations to you and your team as one podcaster and content provider to another. Listen, buddy, I know what it takes. I know how hard you work. You and your team have hit it out of the park.
David's so pumped that the Thriller Zone is killing it. I cannot wait to see what's in store for next year. Congrats, man.
Hello, brother. I was out walking the hood, got to thinking about you. I am so proud of you. You have put all the pieces together. You are so mad talented. The world is definitely a better place with you in it. I want you to keep pursuing your dream, man, because you are making it happen. I love you. Mwah.
You're listening to the Thriller Zone. And now back to the show.
Anybody want to start? Your favorite moment of the year?
My favorite moment is the whole concept of this podcast, which is that you bring on writers, and there's nothing we love to talk about more than writing. And we get to talk about it with you, who loves writing, and it's the repartee, it's the banter, it's just finding out where the conversation goes. And it was also when I logged in for this Zoom tonight, you had a holding page up, and it said something like, "Welcome to Dave and Tammy's Naked Mondays on Zoom," or something. It was somebody titled it something, and there was like a whole list of, are you here for which of these more preposterous fake podcasts? So I appreciate you warming up the panelists, so to speak, with letting us know the whole attitude with which we get to approach this, which is great, but doesn't have to be too serious.
Thank you, Meg. You've always been so kind with your time, and the thing that I've always loved about the show is whether you're clocking top of the heap to guys who are just breaking out. Thriller Zone should be a place that everybody can. If it's thrilling you, I want to be talking about it, whether it's a TV, film, or book. So I'm glad that has resonated with you. Hey, who's next? Who can think of one? Just raise your hand. We'll go with it. One of your favorite moments of this past year. Go ahead, Mark.
So I've got kind of a 1A and 1B. The first is when you had Peter Farris on, because he should be a worldwide household name. The Devil Himself is probably one of the best books that have come out this year. So I appreciate the fact that you had him on. But I'm also an Ace Atkins fanboy. Loved your whole interview with him. That was amazing.
Awesome. And is it just me, or is he working on AOL dial-up?
Mark froze.
Yeah. Who's next? Who's got the hand up? Jeff? Yes.
For me, it's not about one particular moment. I kind of agree with Meg. What's fun, Brian and I have had the honor of being on several times now, and we appreciate your hospitality every time. But what's
Because
cool
you
is-
write so damn much.
Yeah. Sound like my wife, Chris. Stop it. I think what's cool about this format is that you're a storyteller. I mean, all of us can appreciate that. We've all been on podcasts where it's like, where do you get the ideas for your stories? And it's just horrible. It's like practicing bleeding. But we get on your show, and you're a storyteller, and the nuance, the little things that, as a writer, Brian likes to say, we spend like 90% on the part that like 2% of the readers even get, but it's our favorite part. And like every time we've come on, right out of the gate, you're like, so I noticed this, and we're like, oh my God, I love this guy. So it's kind of a different experience, because you're a talented storyteller, both in media and in books, that you get those nuances, and you're able to sort of flesh out some of the process without, there's process podcasts and interviews that are also a little tedious because it's too technical, but yours is just this perfectly balanced conversation. Every time we've been on, I feel like we've been on 5 minutes and you're like wrapping it up. Now, it's possible that we're so boring that we were only on 5 minutes and you're now that I think about it or say it out loud. But yeah, I think that's my favorite thing about the show, just in general.
Well, God, thank you so much. I'm humbled by that. It's very nice. Yes, Chris.
I feel like I have to counter program the David love here with my is it a favorite moment or most embarrassed moment? And it is about me because I'm a narcissist. So I'm gonna talk about the first 5 minutes that I was on your podcast, and I was outside and we had both gotten our coffees and sat back down, and somehow we started talking about other podcasts maybe, but I began to complain about another author who went unnamed, but you know, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm complaining about another author. And then I said, "We're not recording, are we?" And you said, "Of course we are." So that was my least favorite moment.
It could have been worse. It could have been worse, Chris. He could have said, "No, we're live, man. We don't."
Oh, he used it. It's in the podcast.
and I've hated you ever since, Chris.
No one present. Believe me.
That's hilarious.
My favorite thing that you did, David, no one else has ever done this, is you had us on and you brought back clips from the last time we were on. You're like, "The last time you were on, you said this, and I'm going to play it now." And you queued it up and played it. And I remember thinking, man, I'm dumber than I was the last time I was on this show, because I don't think I'd think of that today. So thank you for trying to make us look smart by picking our best clips from the previous show and recycling them. So
he was so pessimistic that we had additional thoughts that he loaded it up. He's like, I've probably got everything they've got. So maybe we'll just do this.
Oh, that's so funny, Brian. Thank you. Joe, come on, give me one.
I'm going to go more to the general too. I listened to him, and I'll go with the storyteller thing, because we're all writers or storytellers, and to get in the environment just to talk about some things without saying, "Oh, here's my book, and I suffered on the back alleys of this, and here I am, made it, and you didn't, ha ha ha, look at me," to make everybody else feel bad. You asked this question, like, I can't remember who it was. It was Adair or somebody who you were talking about things that you kind of didn't think you would need to do, but you ended up doing them because you had to. And then the story came out of this connecting with people moment. And because you're a person connector, it really, I don't know, I'm not going to blow smoke up your skirt either, because I can't see below your waist. I'm assuming you're wearing a skirt. It was a moment of sort of a warm kind of, you don't need to be as special to be somebody. And that kind of theme kind of goes through several of your lighthearted, humorous story kind of feel. And I appreciate that. Being early on and being a nobody, it really, makes you say, okay, I can be a somebody, because I had those experiences. I have those same stories to tell. So thanks for that.
Awesome. That is so nice. So kind. Peter, did I see your hand go up? Is he frozen?
I believe he's frozen.
Sean.
Well, I'm going to do it just because it felt like old times. We just kept riffing. I mean, we've known each other, as I think about it, 27 years now. So it was just like sitting in, well, you lived in Devon. You didn't live in Westchester. You lived in Devon. And that's where we used to hang out, and then visit you the one time in LA, and only you could get me to LA. Nobody else could. That was the good part. And then the fact that I got a great compliment by somebody who watched the episode, who said I scared the crap out of them, and talking about technology and what have you. And I thought, you know what? That's what I'm here to do. I did my job. So that was the good part.
And Sean, in like 2 sentences, tell our friends exactly where that comes from, because while you do consult and counsel with the wife, your real oomph with Syzygy 3 back in the day is tech security.
Yeah. So I spent 20 plus years in various forms of technology, most of the times trying to keep the bad guys out. And that's turned into a no-win proposition. So I got out of that. Now, basically, I prepare companies to be hacked.
How cool is that, guys? Talking about material to write, right?
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing. Can I call you?
Yeah.
I think we're all thinking.
Well, actually, believe it or not, that was half the episode, was talking about how very few things get the technology right. Less so in books because you have more room to get it right in books, but in TV, movies, and other types of media such as that.
I'm going to put you on the spot real quick because this is a great think tank that might be able to answer that question. You sent me an email maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. Throw it in front of these people and see if they have a better idea of that connection than I did.
I got the connection that I need. I just can't get in touch with her, but I'm looking for people who work at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory out in California. Even better if they have some connection with either of the Voyager mission. Have an idea for a story of how the world reacts if one of the Voyager spacecrafts suddenly changes direction.
Well, the JPL is I could probably, if I had a decent rifle, I could probably hit it from where I live, and I swim at Rose Bowl, and I'm sure a few of their folks swim at Rose Bowl as well. I'll ask around and see if I can find anybody over there.
That'd be great.
Or come to Whole Foods where I shop in Pasadena. I'm always seeing JPL guys. Yeah, I'll ask around, and I appreciate that. I'll have these guys hook you up.
Awesome. Meg, how you doing on time?
I've got a couple more minutes here.
Okay, I'm going to throw a hint to you so you can be meditating on it while I go down to Joey and ask him his favorite moment. But Meg, we're going to be coming up on rapid fire questions here shortly. And if you were to play one character from your book, anyone, who would it be and why? So think about that. Joey, what was one of your favorite things this past year? Because I think you're a newcomer to the show, relatively newcomer, right?
Yeah. I kind of echo what everybody said, but I tried to listen or watch everything I went on before I went on it. And the first one of yours that I watched was the interview with Scott Blackburn. And it was the first time I was just watching because I wanted to do research because I don't want to look like an idiot when I went on other people's stuff. But with yours, that was the first time I was like, oh, I'm going to buy that book. And then I realized, well, that's the show you want to be on because the interview was so interesting. It actually made me want to buy. So I hope I had a little bit of that on yours as well. But it's just that, you just listen and have a real conversation and you ask the questions that I want to hear. So I appreciate that.
Man, thank you so much. God, that means so much to me.
That's the best compliment you can get from an author. You're selling books, David.
Yeah. Wow.
Tammy, you're going to have to move out because you're not going to be able to live with him much longer.
Peter.
Yeah.
Did I get you yet?
Not yet. I can be brief if you like.
No. You froze a couple minutes ago, so I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. Hopefully I'm not. Doesn't sound like I'm stroking out or something with y'all. So all the Southern guys y'all have had on as crazy Southern dudes, Mark Westmoreland, JB Stevens, Bobby Matthews, obviously bigger writers too. I've really enjoyed those. Scott Blackburn, like all these great up and coming writers. I feel real kindred, like they're kindred spirits. Probably my favorite though, you asking for advice, writing advice, and it just runs the gamut. And one I think was May Cobb. And she talked about stealing little moments. She's a mother and I'm a dad. And like, just, you don't have to sit in a chair and punch a ticket, punch the clock and for 8 hours, just type. You can be giving your kid a bath and you just 15-minute reprieve where you just jot something down that helps you just get these little breakthroughs and you find them, you steal them all throughout the day. I wrote my third novel, The Clay Eaters, which has only been published in France, with basically a 1-year-old behind me on the floor. I had a newborn, in his little Moses basket or manger basket and his toys. And, for a couple hours, I was tending to a baby behind me. And then a new novel that's coming out in France next year, I wrote during the pandemic. And we pulled our son from daycare. So I was like taking care of this crazy 5-year-old and trying to write a novel too. And I was constantly stealing like little moments of just like of sanity where I could jot down a line of dialogue or make a note about a scene, esoteric stuff that only writers understand, but it helped me keep that propulsion and like get the work done eventually. So that resonated with me, her advice. And you have so many writers dropping juicy tidbits like that. So that's what I love about the show, for sure.
Thank you. And sometimes I am my own worst enemy because I wonder, oh, will people get tired of the same questions? But I have a couple that I just always want to know. And I have to remember two things. One is there's so many new listeners coming all the time, and I get them through emails and tracking through analytics and so forth. And having done radio for most of my life, I know that, we always assume, oh, everyone's listening all the time, but there's new listeners. And the other thing is, I'm just curious by nature, and I always want to know, come on, give me that juice, give me that secret sauce. And I think that's what just always keeps me constantly intrigued, Speaking of which, Dean Koontz, we recorded yesterday. Oh, I felt like I was in the presence of, I don't know, that's the first time my shirt was soaked. I was so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the coolest, most laid back, kindest, gentlest spirit ever. And talking about prolific, but I can't wait. That show's coming up in about 3 weeks. Meg, hey, you know what this sound is? So a little rapid fire questions. And I'm gonna guess maybe Heat 2, I don't know. But if you were going to get to play one character, and I know a lot of people go, oh, but I'm not an actor. Yeah, but let's pretend you can. Any one of them, who would it be and why?
I'm going to save Heat 2 and kind of tease it because I get to come back on with you later this summer, I hope.
Yes, ma'am, of course.
I'm going to keep you hanging because my job is to keep people in suspense. That is what I do. So I will say that one character I would play from my books would be Caitlin Hendricks, who is the protagonist in my Unsub series, because she's younger, taller, she runs faster, jumps higher than I am. She's an FBI agent. And she's a profiler, so she's an excellent judge of character. So she knows who's hiding something, which is a great skill for people to have. And she's a redhead. All the cool people in my family are redheads, so I made her a redhead. So that's who I'd be.
That's awesome. And yes, I don't have my calendar in front of me, but you're here in just a couple of weeks. Jeff, let's go with you, and let's do Andrews Wilson one after the other. If you're going to, and there's so, and we only have a few minutes, so with all the books, I know we've got a stack to pull from, but give me one, Jeff.
Yeah, we've got a different series and different characters. It's easy to say you want to be Dempsey or Chunk Redman or someone like that. But honestly, if I could pick one and only one, I'd probably want to play Ben Morvant, who is a secondary character in our Shepherd series, Dark Intercept. You don't really meet him until Dark Angel and Dark Fall. But I love Ben Morvant, not just because he's the seasoned, calm guy, but he's a guy I relate to because he's been through a lot of violent things in his life, and he has somehow found peace, and he found it through faith. So I would want to play him, I think.
That's awesome. And that's so you too, dude. Yeah.
And guys, I've got to bail. So thank you so much for having me on. This is great.
Meg.
Congratulations again.
Hi, Meg.
Bye-bye.
Meg, we love you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Okay, now. She's awesome. Brian, how about you, sexy kitten?
Yeah, the squares have rearranged now. So,
Yes.
I think I'd like to play Dan Munn. And it's funny because we just went to Virginia Beach and I met the real life Dan Munn, who was a friend of Jeff's. He's been a friend of Jeff's for, 15, 20 years, something like that. But in the series, Dan has always intrigued me because the fictional Dan Munn, because here's a guy who has to be John Dempsey's wingman. And like Jeff said, I think I can't really imagine playing John Dempsey, but to actually be sort of in the presence of this fictional, badass would be pretty interesting. So that's my answer, Dan Munn.
I love it. Let's go with Joe and Sean. You're going to have you're up next. So you're going to have to think outside the box. Maybe one of the books.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I got something.
Okay. I figured that. Joe, how about you, buddy?
Well, the main character of my books is a guy named Bridger, who has got a sort of a CIA-ish relationship with Mother, covert action background. But my books are based upon my autobiographic story, so it's kind of hard for me to take myself out. My first book, I was sort of the lead character. In Spy Devils, I was the lead character until I wrote Bridger. And I'm not interesting. This guy's more interesting. So, everybody say play Bridger, but I think I like the minor characters of. He was a guy named Peter Schaefer who worked for corporate, was just a mope, did his job, ended up being stuck into the world of espionage, not knowing what the hell was going on, and had to figure out what was happening to his life and to this world to keep his job. And just an everyday drone bee going into work and having his bosses tell him what to do and trying to get fired and keep the health care. And I wanted to connect with people. So I really connected with him because it was sort of me.
Yeah.
And I have something like that in every book because it's sort of all my books are based upon my different phases of my life.
Yeah.
And so the next one will be politics and things like that.
Perfect. All right, Sean, let's hear it.
So as the only non-writer on this episode, I'm going to actually go with an actual author, and I'm going to go with the author who actually got me into reading, because my mother told me to read the first book in what turned out to be a trilogy, and it got me so hooked that I haven't stopped reading since. And I'll say, if I could be any author, it would be Robert Ludlum, because my mom is still a voracious reader, and she read The Bourne Identity, and I think I was 11, 12. She gave me the book and she said, read this. And I said, I want to be outside. I want to be playing. And she said, read the book. And it was a hardcover. And I read the book. And ever since then, that's been my my go-to, is to be a reader of thrillers.
And if I can throw this pitch in, I'm on the dining room table right now, and at about chapter 10 sits The Bourne Sacrifice by Brian Freeman. He's coming up next week, and this could be on my inside my top 10 for summer reading. If you like Ludlum, you're gonna love this.
Okay.
Let's go to Joey with the exceptional connection. I want to know what you would be playing and why.
I'd play my main character, James. One, because he's a lawyer and I always wanted to be a lawyer. But more importantly, he does two things that I have not done in a while, and that's smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol. And I miss them both. So I enjoyed writing those moments immensely because I got to vicariously get a little buzz through him.
Practical man.
Yeah. You still have that Scotch and smoke voice.
I was just thinking the same thing, man. That Joey's got some great pipes.
Yeah, he does.
Sounds great.
Hey, Mark, how about you, buddy?
Mac Dooley from A Violent Gospel is basically me. He's handsome, funny, and pretty dumb. And I tell my wife every day that I'm married. So yeah, if I were any fictional character from a book, I'd write it.
Gotcha. Chris, how about you?
Well, I think it's going to be pretty weird if I say Haley Chill. A 25-year-old blonde, blue-eyed, ass-kicking female from West Virginia. So
it's how I've always thought of you, Chris.
So you know. So I'm going to go with Andrew Wilde, her handler, I guess is what he is. And he's why I would go with him is I guess he's kind of like me in some ways, but he's sort of he's not terribly agreeable and he kind of works with Haley in what could be described as a tough love kind of relationship. I mean, he gives her a hard time, and he isn't always supportive, but ultimately, you get. I hope that a reader would get the sense that he's very much, interested in her well-being and respects and admires her with. Great paternal affection. So he's a good guy. I haven't done a lot with him in the books yet. And someone smarter than me said, you got to do something with him and explore, deeper into who Andrew Wild's all about. So that's an arrow I've got in my quiver that I'm going to use one of these days.
I like it. Hey, as we get ready to wrap up, I would like to ask this entire crew any questions that you have for my lovely and beautiful and talented wife.
Why'd you marry him?
How do you do it?
I was going to say, David invited me and my wife to dinner with you. I don't know if he does that with every guest, but that's felt like an open invitation. So
Encinitas has an open door policy. Anytime you're down here, just give us a call.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I just think you should make more appearances. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, David is charming, but he's not that great. I mean,
Yeah.
so let's get you on the show some more.
Yeah.
Keep the energy up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Chris.
You put you look up the better half in the dictionary and we'll see a picture of Tammy. So
Yeah.
sure.
There you go.
Actually, Tammy proves David does have a brain. There you go.
Definitely the best thing I ever did.
Thank you.
We used to have a podcast called Dave and Tammy Tour Podcast. Here's what we did was we're moving from New York City to Los Angeles. And we wanted to keep in touch and have our family kind of, travel the road with us. So we shot little miniature videos all along the way and did little, like 10-minute podcast. And we got more traffic, all of that silly things. So when we landed in Encinitas and over cocktails and conversation, the hilarity ensued. So
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
They work good. I'll give you that. They work good.
Yeah. Thank you.
The later in the show, the deeper into the cocktails, the more interesting the conversation. We'll just say that.
Well, guys, I was going to have hats and blow whatever those, all that bullshit for the party. But thank you so much for joining us for this 1 year celebration. It's been, I cannot believe it's been 1 year. And it's experienced steady growth. Some of the greatest authors literally in the world. And I don't want to give out all the candy in the lobby, but I've got a list of who's coming up in August, September. We're booked into October and into November, and we have a stellar lineup. I mean, it just keeps getting better, and I feel so blessed and grateful to have you guys as friends and mentors. And yeah,
congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Continued success.
Hard work and dedication.
Yeah.
And Tammy, stay on your feet.
Yeah, no more face plants and road rash.
Well, at least not before big recordings.
Right,
So-
there we go. Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
Chris, I'm going to be talking to you probably in the spring over your next book. I think we kind of threw that around at Thriller Fest. We're going to be getting together, though, before then, we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff and Brian. Brian, you're going to be talking to me about a new feature on the show. Jeff may be a part of that, but you remember that little idea that we tossed around at Thriller Fest? And Jeff, we have other things to talk about, hopefully very soon. We'll leave it at that. Joey, we cannot wait. We cannot wait for your honor, as well as what's happening next with the local. Peter, nobody does ducks and turkeys and deer like you, buddy. And that devil himself, when I got a chance to do that little bit of the audio, that's opened up some new doors just because somebody finally heard it, and I'm totally excited about it. We'll share it more very soon.
The other thing that was fun about Peter's podcast, not to step over you, is hearing the perspective of publishing in another country versus publishing here in the US and that experience. It was really interesting and fascinating, Peter, that you were able to share and talk to that level.
Yeah, I'm the Jerry Lewis or Woody Allen of Southern Noir right now. And that's cool. It's fine by me. So.
Joe, I'm waiting to see what's next up your sleeve. I'm very anxious.
Yeah, I'll hit you in the fall. I think the next book's coming out late fall, early winter, something like that. So I'll hit you up.
Okay, awesome. And Mark, I know that you keep me pretty well in tune to what you're doing. So I think that's pretty close, isn't it? Isn't it? September. Got it. Cool. And Sean.
Yes, sir.
When are we going to get together again in person, do you think?
Considering Susan might have to spend a week in LA, maybe sooner than we think. So, because she needs a chauffeur.
There she
told
is.
Me. So there she is.
Come on, Susan.
Susan,
say
quick,
hi.
Quick, say hi. Oh, look at you. What's for dinner, baby?
Dave. Yeah. I told you it was on his 1 year anniversary show.
I thought it was
No.
It's these little impromptu moments, David.
Yes.
I love it. The storytelling.
So you now understand how much my wife actually listens to me.
Yeah.
And here's what I said.
And check out my book.
And she pimps her book. I love it. That's
Okay.
awesome.
That is not a thriller.
But we're thrilled to see her.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for taking the time out. We're a little bit over, but raise your glasses if you still have any. My little gin and tonic is pretty watered down. Cheers to each and one of you. Thank you so much for your love and friendship and the good work that you do. I'm honored to be friends with you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to reading everybody's books too. Everything sounds great.
Yeah.
So nice to see all you guys in person. Really fun and exciting for me. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Hey,
Tammy.
best of luck to everybody. Good luck. I'll be on the lookout for the new releases.
Is
Cheers.
that it?
Yeah, see you next time
All right.
on another Thriller Zone.
Adios.
See ya.
Everybody.
A very special thanks to, in no particular order, Chris Hauty, Meg Gardiner, Joe Goldberg, Sean O'Rourke, Peter Farris, Andrews and Wilson, that's Brian and Jeff, Joey Hartstone, Mark Westmoreland, and all my friends who called in and sent their videos. And of course, a very special thank you to my lovely and brilliant wife, Tammy, my partner in this adventure of a lifetime. Now, as I said at the top of the show, stay tuned for the Thriller Zone 2.0 beginning next week. And to give you an idea of who's coming in July, Jane Friedman, Brian Freeman, Amina Akhtar, Eli Craner, Sarah Pierce, and the legendary Dean Koontz. Then, before summer ends, we'll welcome David Ellis, Rick Bleiweiss, Kelly J. Ford, Ryan Steck, Super Agent Gina Panettiere, Nick Petrie, Wanda Morris, J. Todd Scott, Adam Hamdy, and Meg Gardiner. I'm David Temple. We'll see you next time for another edition of The Thriller Zone.
Well, I didn't dress up. I literally was helping my wife make dinner and walking a baby chihuahua and then scrambled down here with moonshine so I could get on time. So this is not the plan.